Hi, welcome or welcome back to Salty at 60. This is a space that I created for women over 60 who like to express themselves through their style. And today we're going to talk about how you can find that unique style that is truly your own. So let's get into it. So last week I did not film a video because I had the opportunity to go to upstate New York for the first time and visit Niagara Falls. It was truly a wonderful experience. I had a great time, but the reason why I'm sharing this with you is it has really turned my scheduling for my videos on its head. So I wanted to explain that this video will be in two parts. It's all in one video, but it is in two parts. I filmed it on two separate days, and that is because I had to accommodate that my schedule got behind. So I am hearing a lot of chatter on YouTube about how people are so tired of the fashion trend cycle. They are really tired of the algorithms and the aesthetics they are fed. And I'm seeing a lot more videos and people speaking out about everybody looks like a clone and they want to find their own unique style. And I think that I have some keys that can help you also dress for your own unique beauty and your own body. So how do we tackle finding that place where we love our clothes, we love to get dressed every day, and that we show up in the world uniquely as ourselves? Well, the first thing I'm going to address is the fallacy that stylish women are just effortless, like they just have a special talent for that. There is no such thing as effortless styling. There is no such thing as effortless dressing. It takes effort to look effortless. And that involves quite a few steps. First, it's going to involve, exploring the different body types and how you fit into different body type categories. And it's not to type you into a box. It's not to make you into a fruit. And it's not to hide your natural beauty or your natural shape, but it's learning to dress those natural lines. So that is the best place to start, is knowing where your lines are at. The second step would be to, explore what are your best colors. What is a color palette that will work for you? Whether it's high contrast or maybe you have low contrast like I do. You just want to find those colors that work best with your skin, your eyes, and your hair color. It's all part of the piece. You're not just eyes and skin. It's all a part of how you appear contrast-wise. And then I would think that the next step would be, once you've got your lines and your colors down, is you need to think about how your hair affects the style or the look that you are trying to achieve. And I'm a perfect example of this. I am still growing out a very, very short pixie haircut, but it wasn't that it was just short. It was a very sort of coiffed look, and I have come to the conclusion that that's not the look for me, so I'm growing out my hair, and I'm also growing out my hair dye. So your hair does play a major role in how your aesthetic or your appearance is going to be. So you need to think about that, as well as, now I am not a big makeup person, and I think I have finally realized the reason for that is because I do have very low contrast, and makeup can quickly look overdone on me, harsh. It just takes away from my essence sometimes. So I have learned that, by learning what my contrast levels were and what might work for me, that has helped me tremendously. But the last piece of this puzzle is your essence. In other words, how do people perceive you when they first meet you? How do you show up in a room? And this involves, a lot of different aspects. So that's what we're going to get into today. And I think it is just so interesting. But I also think if you've done that above work, this is your key to getting to that unique style. If you love style and fashion like me, you have probably come to, and you're interested in this video and you are watching it, you've probably come to the realization that you've tried on different looks, you've tried on different styles, and something is just not quite working for you. And that is because you have skipped either some of those steps that I just talked about, or, you have this mentality that, oh, I love that aesthetic, and you completely overhaul your wardrobe to fit into that aesthetic. And at the end of the day, that may not be what works for you best. So I guess the second piece of this that I wanted to talk about was how long it can take to get to a place where, you are understanding your body, how to dress your body, what sort of cuts work best for you, what sort of materials work best for your body. And it is a process. Like I said, it is not effortless. It takes time. And if you go into it with the mentality that, I'm going to just dive in here, learn all these things, and I'm going to have great style, or I'm going to buy a whole new wardrobe, and then I'm going to have this fabulous style. It does not work that way. You have to learn what works on you. That is part of finding your essence. And, we don't show up as these little pieces of ourselves or as an aesthetic. We are human beings. We are tripart beings. We have a body, a soul, and a mind. And so when we show up in the room or to the world, we are bringing all of these elements to our presence. So before I get into the essences, another fallacy that I wanted to dispel about style is that, I should say this. The fantasy self has taken a real hit in the style world. And I think it's because people prefer formulaic and prescriptive, ways to dress themselves because they find they're lost. They don't have a strong sense of themselves. And so I think, that's also a big appeal of the whole minimalist wardrobe or capsule wardrobes. And they do have value. And I think your things in your closet should absolutely mix and match together. But we should not be ignoring that fantasy part of ourselves. So let's talk about where this idea of essences has come from. Okay, so where did these essences come from? I went to, I'm not an expert with essences. It's something that I'm just discovering, and I'm going to tell you how I found it and how these other style systems can work with essences to get you to that place where you are dressing very unique for your own style. But here is what Google had to say the female archetypes came from. It says female archetypes are universal patterns of behavior and personality with common systems, including the 7 archetypes of the maiden, the mother, the lover, the queen, the huntress, the sage, and the mystic. Or the 4 main ones would be maiden, wild woman, nurturer, and wise woman. These archetypes offer a framework for understanding different facets of a woman's psyche and can manifest differently throughout a woman's life and in various situations. Understanding them can help individuals develop certain qualities and recognize patterns in their own lives. So I did a video last winter on the 3 phases of the female life cycle, which was the maiden, the mother, and then the crone. And I will put a link to that below if you're interested in that. I had a lot of fun filming that video and learning about that as well. So I just wanted to jump ahead and at least explain what I was talking about with these essences, but how I came to these essences were through different steps. So let's talk about what those steps were. So how I came to find this whole essences corner of the YouTube world and really delve into that was first through doing David Kibbe's, style system. And I had purchased his book, and the book contains a lot of exercises in there that where you're just using your fantasy, you're playing the games, you're not trying to figure out the end, you're not trying to jump to the end. And I was very surprised and actually, felt like I was rewarded by going through these exercises. And as part of one of his exercises in the book was to, think about your fantasy self and what that would look like for you. And it wasn't like just your clothes. It was an exercise where you create a dream board. And on that dream board, he had you put specific images for, say, like a landscape, just different things that, attracted you, something of beauty that attracted to you. So I did create my own fantasy board, which I'm going to pop up here. And you can see there's definitely a theme here that kind of surprised me. But at that time, I was like, how in the world does this fit in with my style? So that is where I started with my style essence. and where it's brought me to today. All right, I'm just trying to, I have so many notes because I hate when I do a video and I'm like, oh, I meant to talk about that, or I forgot this little piece of the puzzle. So I am referring to my notes here a little bit because as I'm getting in more and more to the video, I'm like, I'll make sure I want to cover everything I want to cover. So I wanted to say that even before Kibbe, I was finding myself really lost in how I wanted my style to be, perfecting my style, feeling really good in my clothes, on a consistent basis. And, going through that whole trial and error process, because it does take time to figure those things out for yourself. But mine started with the baby step of using Alison Bornstein's 3-word style method. And she is a stylist. She's a younger woman. Such a valuable exercise to do. If you haven't watched her, I highly recommend that you find her on YouTube and watch some of her videos. But she came up with a method to pick 3 words that you feel like best describe you. The first word would be sort of like your go-tos and how you normally show up in the world. And my word for that was casual. And then the second word she wants you to come up with, well, I might not have these in order, but the other word she wants you to come up with is, your aspirational world, like in your perfect world, and you picture yourself, how do you want to be? And I picked the word regal. And then the third word, which seems completely opposite to my first word, which was casual. And then my third word that I picked was natural. I want it to appear natural. I love, more heavy makeup on women and more polished looks on women's and sharp suiting on women's, but that didn't feel like me. So what I discovered when I got into doing the Kibbe stuff and doing some of these games and got some real revelations about myself, and finally was able to firmly place myself as a flamboyant natural in the Kibbe body style. And then I went back and looked at some of these fantasy images. I could also see where these words that I had chosen from Alison Bornstein's method, which was casual, natural, and regal. So this is how the Kibbe system kind of helped me nail that and sort of confirm that for me, because for me, what casual meant was I don't like a lot of structure. I don't like to belt. I don't like to have strong, suiting on. I don't have like really structured outfits, really structured clothing. So for me, casual in the Kibbe world translated it to maybe a little more oversized. Maybe it's a little more drapey. Maybe it's a little more flowing, loose. So that was confirmed for me by going through these exercises and playing these games. And then I would say that the regal comes from, I am 5'10", and all my life I tried to minimize my height. And now that I'm in that over 60 age, in fact, I just had my birthday in September, I am now 63. And, I'm over that. I just want to show up for who I really am, how to dress and look my best, and, be happy with myself. So I kind of embrace that regal word. It's sort of like, not regal in sort of a pretentious way, but in a way that you're just calm, you're above it all, you're in control. And I don't even like to control other people or situations. Like, I'm not a manipulator in that way. To regal to me just meant it's the way you hold yourself and how you just look classically elegant. So that's what I liked about that. And then, I realized when I was going through the Kibbe body types and playing some of the games that I was really attracted to drapey, asymmetrical, flowing, loose lines, and that did fit my flamboyant body type. So that was really groundbreaking for me. And then the last bit when I did of Alan Bornstein's word method was the word natural. And I quickly realized that based on the natural flamboyant style, natural flamboyant people need like air, they need room, they need flowiness, looseness. They just have to have that in their look. And I was like, wow, I now understand why I have never liked to wear suits, to wear too much structure. I'm not someone I absolutely hate belting. And it has really nothing to do with my current figure. I just don't like it. I don't find it comfortable. And it always looked off on me. And I finally had the answer to that. So that's how I believe doing these games is so important, and doing this exploration first is very important before we get into the essences. So one of the recommendations for your essences is ask somebody that's close to you, that knows you, to come up with some descriptor words for what essence they get from you. What is your vibe? In other words, what do you put out into the universe? So that is very interesting and helpful. And I had someone in my life that I am very close to do that for me. And if she's watching this, she knows who she is. And thank you so much. It was very, very helpful. So let's talk about how that can help us. Actually, before I say how that can help us, if I did explain that there's these 7 archetypes, I did not go into, and I'm not going to go into detail of what those 7 archetypes are. I'm still exploring it. I'm still learning it. I don't feel comfortable enough to share that with you, except that I have found, and this I will share with you, it works. It helps. It works. I totally believe in it. And so I'm not going to explain which each archetype envelops. I will say this, though. We are all a combination of some of the essences. Generally, we will have a dominant essence, and then we will have maybe 1 or 2 more essences that sort of just show up in our being. So by me talking to this person and asking them, and explaining to them this little experiment I was doing, they came back with some descriptor words that really surprised me, and that really actually did fall into some of the essences that I think I may be leaning into. Okay, so I thought what I would share with you today is what my person came back with me on what they perceived. These can be qualities, of course, that you have, but I should say also that your essence is not just like your clothes. It's how you speak, your mannerisms, how you walk, how you move, your fluidity, your rigidity. All of these things play into how people see you. So I'm going to share with you the words that were given to me and how I really can see how these marry some of the essences I'm going toward you. And that's why I'm sharing it with you today, because I think it's such a crucial part of finding that unique thing about us personally. So she described me in this way. She says, I'm a part sage, part story spinner. Warmth, open heart, effortlessly elegant, soft rebellion, understated with a spark, weathered, resilient, wistful, penitent, nostalgic. So some of these took me off guard, and some I was like, yeah, I can see why she would think that part about me. So what I did next is I went back to the fantasy board that I had created when I was doing some of these David Kibbe exercises and things like that. And I took these words and I went through things and I said, yes, I can see some connections here. So let me share you the connections that I came up with. All right. So when I did go through this exercise on trying to figure out, well, which essence for me may be dominant, or which essence do I think I possess. And then I compared it with this list that I got from this person who is close to me. I could really see that a lot of the dots were connecting with my dream board and just other things that I had picked up. So I came to the conclusion that I relate more with the sage and the ethereal essences. And I believe that, I'm not sure which one of those essences are the most dominant right now, but this person that's close to me that described me, she even used the word sage, which I was blown away by that, because I don't even know that she knows anything about the whole essences or she's ever explored that before. But I did feel like the ethereal part related to her saying that she called me effortlessly elegant. She said understated with a spark and wistful, which I felt like that all related to the ethereal part of me. And not only did she use the word sage for me, she also said that story spinner. And I am a person who I probably should have gone into the teaching profession because I have a very, very inner rich world. I am always thinking. I love the creative. I love exploring the world. I love exploring ideas. I love exploring people. I love exploring the spirituality and our place in the world and trying to figure all of that out. And it can consume me. I just absolutely love doing that. So it did not surprise me. And I don't know if the sage and the mystical are the same yet. Like I said, this is still kind of new to me. But I'm just sharing all of this with you, not to talk about myself so much, but that how much of this could be that key that we have been looking for to come to our own authentic self. Okay, so the one last thing I wanted to say about essences is I do believe they can evolve over time. One of the essences that I could see myself really relating to, but it was my younger self that I really related to. I really related to that huntress essence. And I probably spent 20 or 30 years of my life sort of embodying that. And so, and also some of my very favorite movies with female heroines always has that sort of huntress at the core. Like I remember the Terminator movies, how I just loved Linda Hamilton in the Terminator movies, how she started out kind of weak and helpless. And then once she knew the deal, how strong she got and she fights against the machine and all of that. I loved Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games. I read all the books, watched all the movies more than one time, just so intrigued by her. And then it was Catherine Winnick who played this Viking maiden and then warrior in the History Channel's Viking series, was just one of my favorite characters. However, time has mellowed me. And I don't see myself as much in that huntress role, although it still gave me a love for things like I am tackling the Game of Thrones series. I always wanted to watch it, and boy, is it really good. But it's one of the reasons why I have like this whole fascination with like Viking sagas and all that. So although I don't feel like that's a strong part of my personality anymore, one of the words that my person gave me as feedback is she said, quietly rebellious and resilience. And so that was a much larger part of me as a younger person. So I do feel like our essences can change over time. All right, the last thing I wanted to say about essences before we get into the outfits here is that I believe dressing your unique, authentic self takes courage. Because let's face it, we all go out into the world every day and we wear a mask for a particular role we have to perform. And that's completely normal. That's not being inauthentic. When I say being your own unique self, it doesn't mean you show up as this just disjointed person just wearing whatever the heck you want when you want. No, we live in a society. There are things and levels of appropriateness. And the key is just finding how we can incorporate those pieces of ourselves in our everyday life and for those roles and situations we have to play. So, like those heroines I discussed that I admire so much, we're going to have to be a little brave. So let's get into these outfits. This is the outfit that started it all for me. This was where my vision went. I wanted to be able to take these velvet pants that I love velvet. I love the luxuriousness of it. I love the femininity of it. I like the wide flowy ones. And it was my vision to just pair this with like a cozy, comfortable fall, winter sweater. And I was really excited about this outfit because I kept looking for velvet sneakers, because if you've watched me for a while, you know that I love my sneakers and I love my low heels, and I wanted something really comfortable. I could not find a velvet sneaker that wasn't a large platform sneaker, and I wasn't looking for that. So I found these through eBay. These are Vans. They are a very dark navy blue velvet, perfect shape. Picked them up for I think less than $20. And I paired them with these navy blue velvet wide leg pants. These are from Hilera. They've got pockets in them, so they're super comfy, super cozy. And then on the side, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a slit down here near the ankle. You could, of course, these are long enough to where you could put these with a heel or you could put them with a boot. But I just think that this is a really cute outfit, and it is what sparked my journey into trying to figure out how to dress my style, my essence, in a way that was maybe a little bit more feminine. Oh, and let me talk about this sweater. This sweater was just, I love and adore this sweater. This is the first time I purchased anything from Marcella, which is, they're out of New York City. And I loved it because it's like, it's got this cape feel. It is asymmetrical. And as you can see, I can pull this down really, really long if I wanted to. And I just think it is a very nice casual look, but it really looks, I hate to use the word elevated, but this to me looks elevated. So this is my first outfit. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, here is another outfit that I've put together using velvet. This time I did it in this long crushed velvet pink duster. I loved the length on it. I love how it kind of looks a little boho. And I paired it with this beautiful gray, I call it a poet top. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's like, it's just a nice material. It's got that nice drape. It's a little bit pleated up around the neck. It's got the strings here that I left untied, and I paired these with a brand new pair of jeans that I purchased from Old Navy. This is their high rise, and I can't remember the brand. I'll put the link below. I loved these things, but I realized when I got them, because I'm sort of in a dilemma if I order my normal talls and I don't wear, well, I know I don't wear heels a lot, and I especially in the summertime I don't wear them at all. So I've been buying pants that were a little bit, like I'll buy the regulars a lot of time and they look okay, but I still prefer the longer length on me. So I purchased these and I realized I really wanted a better shoe to go with this. So what I did was I, went shopping, and I'm finding shoes for my feet can be very, very difficult because I have a really bad bunion on one foot, and then I hurt my foot again this past summer and it's been swollen. And also my feet are, for whatever reason, continue to spread, even when I have lost some weight. So I did find these super cute boots that I got from Old Navy. They are like that perfect shaft height, the one that is very popular right now. I like it because it's long enough to where if you did have a shorter pair of jeans or a shorter pair of pants on, you could probably fit it up underneath the pant. And I love, what I'm really loving is I wanted that pointy toe look. And so that's what I got in this look. And I just think it's beautiful. And I also wanted to share with you, I've been picking up some fun accessories because I like the big jewelry. I'm not so much where I don't like to cover myself in jewelry, like I'm not maximalist in that way, but I like a bold statement. And so I picked up these super cute dangly pearl earrings that I got from Amazon. I just love these, and these will go with so many outfits. And then I picked up this really cute, I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. It's a pearl ring, sterling silver. Got that from Walmart of all places. And I just think this is a really fun casual outfit. Fits that look I'm going for, and it feels like me. So let's look at the next outfit. Okay, I am loving this outfit. I decided to take this drapey, beautiful little, I don't even know what you call it. It's not a blazer, it's not really a duster. I think I may have stumbled on something that works for me. I love those third pieces. I like to feel like I'm a little more put together. I cannot stand to wear a suit. It's just not me. It doesn't fit my personality, nor do I go anywhere where I need to wear a suit. So I really wanted to try this. This is a little piece, again, it's crushed velvet. So as you can see, I'm here on a little bit of a theme. And it's got like these, what we can call them a total bell sleeve. But you can roll this up and then you can button them up to keep them in place if you'd like. I just wanted to wear it long, and it comes with this really thing you can do at your waist. You can cinch it in more so that like maybe on the back you look a little more cinched in, or even on the front. But again, I left the Old Navy pants on, the Old Navy boots, and I just paired these with this beautiful white quince cashmere sweater that I had purchased last year. Love this outfit, totally my style. I can totally wear this in my regular everyday life. And I'm keeping true to these more softer colors that I have been looking at, that we talked about for my winter palette, and I'm just really happy. And again, I'm going to show you another piece that I picked up. Now, this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I picked up this. It's like a resin with a sterling silver band, and I just love this. It's very flashy, it's very big, very mean. So I just like this outfit and wanted to share this one with you. All right, this outfit is just came together perfectly the way I envisioned it. And you know how that does not always happen, ladies, so I'm really happy with this outfit. What I have here is the softest sweater I think I have ever purchased. I adore this. I think it's supposed to look like mohair, but it's just so soft. It came from Amazon, and I've only buttoned one button. And then I added this really cute long heart necklace. I've just been admiring that style when I see it on other influencers. I just love it, and I love a long necklace to help kind of break things up in the chest area. And I am wearing a lilac color turtleneck. This is very thin, not too restricting on the neck, but it is a little bit more fitted. And I just added my sneakers here because this is what keeps it real for me. I am not going to be gallivanting in my house all day with high heel boots on. That won't be something that I would wear all day. However, work paired with these white sneakers, plain, simple white sneakers, this really will work for me when it's really cold. I like this double layer. Now, I could have paired these. I got these boots here. I can't remember where I purchased them at, but these are more of a bone color. So for this outfit, I really wanted to just keep that pure white going here. I really liked it. I thought it gave it a different tone and gave it a different mood. But let me tell you, these boots, I've had the heck of a time getting boots this year because my foot has gotten wider and I have that bunion. It is almost impossible to find wide widths in a boot that doesn't come with these really wide calves. And you're going to see another pair of boots that I purchased that also have the wide calf. I don't have wide calves. In fact, I have skinny little legs at the bottom. However, you got to do what you got to do. So I'm hoping that I can work around that by adding some extra deep socks. And I did want to note, because I failed to mention on that last outfit with the crushed velvet jacket, if you notice, I'm not pairing velvet with velvet or anything dressy with dressy. I am trying to take what I consider to be, more luxurious fabric, something a little more elevated, and then mix it with my everyday. So that has been the key to me feeling comfortable in this style. And the last thing I wanted to say on this outfit was, what was I going to say about this outfit? Oh, the blue pants. These blue pants, I just love these. You know, if you're in a mid-market where you don't want to spend a lot of money on slacks, really well-made, decent slacks, I'm in that place because my weight fluctuates so much. And because I've been trying for 3 years to figure out my style, so I've not really wanted to invest in pieces that were very expensive. These are a great, mid-weight slacks. They're actually made very, very well. They've got the little bit of pleating up here, and they've got the hook and eye closure, and they come in, regulars, petites, and talls. Abercrombie makes really good pants. All right, so here is that other pair of velvet pants I picked up. These are also from Hilera. These were not expensive, and I failed to talk about this beautiful elastic waistband. Makes them so comfy to sit at my desk for hours, because we don't like to be binded and pinched or anything like that when we're working for hours at our desk. So this was perfect. And here I did put on those, they're more of a bone color. This is not a stark white sweater. It's kind of made out of the same material as that sweater that I showed you earlier. However, it's not as luxurious feeling. It's soft. This came from Old Navy, and it came in red and white last year. I have no idea if they still have it on their website, but I liked it because it had the long V-neck and because it is a tunic length. I don't like to tuck, and I just like to be so casual. So this clicked all the boxes off for me. And here I just paired it with this, you're seeing a lot of these necklaces with the cord. And I think I got this last spring, and I haven't worn it a whole lot, but it's really because I sometimes don't have the right blouses and tops in the summertime. That is my hardest season for me to dress for. But I will say about these shoes, these boots, they are sort of that pirate type look or slouchy type look. It had the buckles going around it, which I wasn't that fond of that. But I love the height of the boot. Like I said, they're going to be possibly difficult to wear with some of my skirts because it's going to depend on how I can get that wide calf to look when I don't have a wide calf. But very, very comfortable. And this is, just, again, just a very easy outfit. This would look pretty if you paired it with like a really cool graphic tee or maybe like a fuzzy hoodie or, you know, just something to kind of keep it casual. If you're a blazer girl, you could pop on a, you know, a denim blazer, any kind of blazer, change out your shoes. I mean, I think it's very versatile, these velvet pants. I think it gives you a lot of options to dress up, to dress down. And of course, if you did go somewhere where it was more like a party type atmosphere, you know, you could get like a little shimmery top or blouse or something to go with this and bam, you've got your holiday outfit. So I was going to say, I've got 2 more outfits to show you. These are both with skirts, and I'm going to end with my very, very favorite outfit that fits my fantasy and not my reality. Probably never going to be able to wear this, maybe out of the house, but it was one of those things, girls, where I was like, I have to have that. I love that, and you'll know what I mean when we see it. So stick around to the end, and let's take a look at these last 2 outfits. Okay, this outfit is, let me tell you why this is unusual for me. I only own one other flower shirt in my closet, and I purchased that in the spring, and it was these big flowers, big bright colors. I really fell in love with this muted sheer top. And I will tell you that I do need a cami under this. However, I've had to order one. It did not come in, but I wanted to show you this top. This is so beautiful, so feminine without, you know, too much embellishment. It's clean, it's straight. I would probably pair this with one of those sweaters I showed you earlier in the white family. But here I've added them with these taupe boots. These are the ones that I really think I'm going to have to get some knee-high socks or something to hug them so they don't fall down so much because they are a slouchy boot. And I just really like that. Now this is a ruched skirt that I purchased last year from OGL Move. It's their Eco Thermal line, and it is a warm winter skirt. And if you wore this with tights, you'd be set. But you can see a little bit of the ruching here, but of course I have the belly. But I really liked how this gave me that feminine feel. Now, of course, I could have added, I've got this really pretty that I haven't showed you here today yet, pearl, multiple, you know, kind of chain you can wrap around your neck a few times, sort of give you that Chanel look. So, so pretty. But again, I like flashy and I like different, but I don't want to go overdressed, especially if this is something I could wear around my house. And I could wear these. These have a very low heel, less than 1 inch. And I will say, just so comfortable. And I'm sure that I will figure out a way to deal with that calf issue. But I wanted to show you that this little outfit is something you can wear around your home, feel a little more feminine, put on a dress, put on a skirt, and kind of lean into your femininity. And I just really like it. And I like that the colors are sort of staying in this soft palette that I have got going now. And I used the darker green, and this is like a sage green on the bottom. So I think this is a really cute outfit. All right, ladies, this is the skirt that made me lose my damn mind. I seen this on Amazon when I was shopping for something completely different, and I fell in love with that. And I have to tell you, as much as I like fashion and I like clothes, that rarely ever happens. I was like, where in the world? This skirt, by the way, it has such a beautiful mint color with blue, white, and silver rhinestones and sequins on it. Just absolutely beautiful. And I will say this, it's too tight for me, like right up here in the hips, so I'm still on that weight loss journey. I hope to lose the weight, but this would be so pretty to wear. I would want to maybe put a silky cami or a silky shirt under this, because just the way the shirt falls and kind of, it's not that the shirt obviously is not tight on me, it's just the placement of the buttons. So I would want to, you know, maybe seal up some gaps here so that you wouldn't have to be going around messing with it all the time. And I did add this beautiful pearl necklace. And I put my hair up just because, thank God, this is the last outfit for today because I am starting to sweat. And this is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to get this off my body, and then I'm going to show you a close-up shot of this skirt just because it is so damn beautiful. Okay, so I wanted you to be able to see this beautiful skirt up close. I hope that the camera can pick up the colors in it. I will tell you that this beadwork on here is impeccable. There is not one hanging thread. Nothing appears to be loose. And this dress is heavy. I mean, not dress, skirt. I literally had to put it on this strongest hanger that I have with these big metal clips because, I mean, it's got some weight to it. And I will say the downfall of something like this is it's narrow all the way to the bottom, which is a style I prefer, but the material does not stretch and it doesn't have a lot of, it can look very nice when you're walking in it. However, you're not going to be able to take big girl strides in this skirt because it just doesn't have the width to take long strides. Me being tall, and because I also carry myself a lot of times like I'm in a hurry and I walk a little bit fast, that would be something I would have to be conscious of. But I did want to show it to you again up close so you could see this gorgeous detail. Hopefully you can see it in the light here. Just beautiful. So let's talk about this whole, don't buy for your aspirational self. I agree with that about 95% of the time. You shouldn't buy something that's so aspirational you won't be able to wear it. But if I get a chance to wear this, I'm going to wear it. I adore these colors in this skirt. By the way, this skirt is from Amazon. I think it was about $45, and it's worth every penny. It is stitched so nice, and it is fully lined, and I just really liked it. It comes in different colors, so it's really whatever suits you and your style if you like this. But I just had a lot of fun, trying to find a different way to connect with like my essence, my true style, and really tap into that. And I can say that I do feel like I'm really getting there because I really have a pretty good closet now. I like my coastal grandmother style, just wearing my casual sweaters and sneakers. I like that style, but it was still missing a big part of me. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I do think it takes a certain bravery to show up in the world as something you're not used to showing the world about yourself, because it seems like it's sort of such a sacred, secret little place of yours. And so I really admire women who can do that, but I think it takes practice. So as you can see, I'm not going to mix two crazy pieces at a time. I'm going to take a few pieces, play with that, learn to style them, go out in the world, feel comfortable in them. It's still really too hot here for me to wear materials like velvet or really even my sweaters. We had maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks where you get up in the morning and you're like really cold because it's not at that time of year where our heat would cut on, but the house gets cold. It takes a while to warm up. So, I would throw on like, a little sweater in the morning, and then, by noon, 1 o'clock, I'd have to take it back off. So it's that fickle fall dressing. However, I just had a lot of fun with this experience, and share with me below if you've been on this journey before, or, maybe it gave you some inspiration to do that, to step out of your box and try some different things. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you in the next video.